Gender identity, gender issues, and so-called concept of gender equality, all of these things have been fuzzy to me ever since I heard them in the beginning. See, people suddenly deciding to ignore hundreds of millions of years of karmic evolution, DNA evolution and the such, just because they have certain issues. And when people feel very low in terms of esteem, they will definitely want to be something else or someone else, right? So it's easy to start all sorts of these games, especially with children, and with all sorts of content being created to support certain agendas, in ways that are probably entertaining for them. See, you can't ever count on cheap entertainment, because what you find on the internet is free entertainment. Free entertainment is the worst that you can ever have, because you don't even need to pay for it. So why would you even expect any quality? Because people are ignorant, and because of this people are miserable. They will want distractions so that they run away from their responsibilities, so that they lie themselves that they can feel good. See, gender equality is not something that you can achieve at all times. It will always be something. See, nowadays when you have feminism and the such, see, all of these agendas function on a very simple premise. Okay, they function on the premise of the kindergarten, or whatever way you want, where someone dictates you what to do and you must be the obedient puppy that does it. Okay, we live in a world that is narcissistic driven. It is ruled by narcissists, people who pathologically hate humanity. So they will make a charade out of humanity in all possible ways. If you simply bow to their agendas and their propagandas, well, you're nothing else but part of the problem, one way or another. Because if you're ignorant and you don't know your constitution, for example, or the laws of your own country, that still doesn't make you exempt from any possible punishment, right? Same goes with other countries. Now, when it comes to knowing things about you, see, even transgender people or people who change their gender, either it changes naturally when they are born, or it happens afterwards through surgery or whatever, well, or at a very young age when it happens to other people. The very simple point is, when they die, for example, or throughout their life, if they do certain tests, DNA tests, their DNA will tell them the original gender that they were, right? And this will be very ironical for them, because a lot of people simply give in to these urges that they are something else. Well, it is up to everyone to choose what they want to be, because ultimately it is just toilet meaning. See, all meaning in this world is fake. All meaning in this world is nothing else but a lie, but an illusion, because meaning is created. It is a construct, right? It is something that we humans have created. We have created so many languages. Each language has their own functions and, well, quite even uniquenesses. And, well, they also have differences, obviously. But, being unique and similar at the same time, with having similarities with other languages, well, it goes to show that we all humans have certain peculiarities in between us, obviously. Because even science says that personality is around 0.2% of all of us, right? So when you have issues like these, feminism and the such, only that 0.2% of you is actually affected, because your personality is how you react to certain things. Well, a part of your personality. When I study people, though, I never take into account their personality, or very rarely, because personality can easily change. It is nothing else but a very superficial structure. It is very brittle, it can always change, and it is vibrant just like the mind. See, when you take people who are hyperactive mentally, ADHD or not, or certain situations like this, well, they may have like hundreds of personalities, because they swap from one side to another, right? They don't have to be schizophrenic or the such. But being hyperactive, they can easily swap mentally from one state to another, and, well, it's not like guru like states. It's just that they swing from one mental I don't know how to call it exactly, but they have a certain way of being, right? And I'm not talking about ADHD people or autism or the such only. There are people who are simply mentally hyper focused. They are mentally hyperactive, and well, they will always jump from one idea to another, from one mental state they will swing to another, and the such. But when you have people who suddenly decide that they are another gender, see, why would you think that there are even any gender equality things? Because suddenly you can say you are the opposite gender or any other gender, and then, well, you know, why would there be any issues, right? Because you've got idiot women who think that just because they are women, they are superior to men. Well, as a man, I can easily say, well, I'm no longer a man, I'm a woman, so treat me equally, right? It's just a fuck you in their face. Of course, you can play these games as much as you want, but when you make a game your reality, that is kind of an issue, because once something becomes your reality, it's kind of hard to pull out of it, right? Feminism and all of these things, they are lessons in life, because narcissists are a kind of teacher. You have to go through their pains and see how things go, and learn to break out of those, because these narcissistic fuckers' pains will simply wake a lot more people, because it's gonna rub a lot more people on the wrong side, because a lot of people simply don't care about their children. Well, it kind of doesn't matter, honestly, because ignorant people will always die in mass. They will be just like the sheep herding, being herd to the slaughterhouse in the first place. But I'm not wishing on people to die. This is the pleasure of some of the people who think that they are ruling this world. Unfortunately, they will get to it, and a lot of people will eventually die. But, well, a lot of people will simply survive afterwards, and the race will be alright. But, as long as you play the games of these new agendas and you don't have the strength to realize, well, you're gonna be in for a rude awakening. That's all I have to say. So don't bother with so many of these things, okay? Gender issue shouldn't be a thing, because ultimately, if you are a human being who can be passionate about life, who can be sensitive about life, you will treat people equally, right? Like the core of my existence, usually treats people how I would treat a child, how I would treat my child. And, I invite them in my life, and I will teach them things, and I will be kind and cute and whatever. But the very simple point is that is my core. It is beyond personality or beyond things, whatever, beyond DNA and the such. We all have our own cores, but depending on many factors, the question is, how much would you actually rely on those? Because a lot of people are confused. In my life, I've also been confused, but confusion cannot mess with a core. We all have cores of existence, and those represent, let's say, a set of virtues or whatever. Just like some people can be pathologically ill, some people can be, wise from a young age, or can be whatever, right? They can always be kind and good, or they can always be douchebags or whatever, right? Some people are douchebags by design. They don't need miserable environments to be so. So all these are just pieces of meaning. Don't bother too much with those. Of course, there will always be situations when people will be rubbed on the wrong side and when people will be pissed. But when you have people that can suddenly decide their gender just because they took a decision, and most likely they took it in misery, so they weren't too sure about it, it was just an impulse. You shouldn't be worrying too much about, gender issues and gender equality, because ultimately these won't exist much. And you have places in the world that legally support hundreds of genders. Well, imagine the, gender equality issues in there, but apparently there aren't, right? And you have all sorts of distorted ideas, but people have to go through those because they've been ignorant for too long. And these are the last years. They either understand that they are the victims of a system who wants them dead, or, well, they will become dead, one way or another. If people live in misery, and especially in ignorance, well, they are dead to a certain extent, because life flies by, time flies by. You don't have time for silly little meanings and petty little squabbles. If you have time for those, probably you're thinking that you're still immortal. Well, all of these pieces of meaning, they're not good to bother your mind with, because life is nice. Look, the sun is out, it's a wonderful breeze, have fun, enjoy life, and well, hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. This being said, Ferenc Board signing out.